everybody. Bill Sell, event director for the Bay State Motor Festival in Framingham come June 21st. With me today, Ken Lemoine, the executive director of the festival, and Dick Shappy, who's got like deep history with cars and motorcycles. It's going to be a great conversation. Ken, take it away.
Thanks, Bill. And so, Dick, we're going to. Well, by the way, welcome first of all to the to this episode that we're filming today. On each of these episodes, we dig into different segments of the old car hobby and the automotive business that supports it, from collectors like yourself, restorers, curators, experts in the industry. We're going to find out what's behind the garage door. Sure. So, first off, you've been floating on the top of the marketplace in the hobby for many, many years. So you've seen everything from Duesenbergs, which I know you have a passion for, to Model Ts, to street cars, to tour buses, etc. You're not afraid to restore anything, are you?
No, I'm not. I've been restoring things. Oh my God! I got out of the military in 1967, and
thank you for the service, by the way.
Well, thank you for that. Around 1970, I guess. My God, what's that? 70? How many years ago was that? 70,
a lot.
Pencil out. Well, I've been restoring cars since around 1970, and I can remember in the early days, I always had a passion for Cadillacs, and I can remember wanting to see an actual V16 Cadillac, and maybe seeing a Duesenberg and those kind of cars. I only saw them in photos. And I can remember back in 1972, I took a ride to like a 6-hour ride. I jumped in a car and drove 6 hours just to go hear one run, to see one. And by the time I got there, the show was just about over because I caught all kind of traffic on the way. And when I told them that I had driven 6 hours just to see one of these things, and they brought me in and they showed me these things. And I saw a V16 Cadillac, and a gentleman had a Duesenberg. I forgot his name. That's so many years ago. I never thought that 50 years later, 50 some odd years later, I'd be owning. I think right now I've got 11 Duesenbergs or Duesenberg powered cars. Right now I got 2 J's, 5 Model A's. Those were from 21 to 26. And I've got 4 walk-in beams. So these are the earliest Duesenbergs. And then I've probably had about 15 V16 Cadillacs that we've restored and put together, and still putting them together right now. In fact, I'm a source for parts for those cars. If someone in the country needs a part for a V16 Cadillac, they usually have to either call me or my friends down in Kansas City. But yeah,
we bumped into one another again, as we do at many automotive events. We were at the Wilbraham Hill Climb, yes, which is a 20 some odd degree grade that they used for hill climb testing in 1908 out in Wilbraham, Mass. And you had I think it was the 1929 convertible coupe Duesenberg there?
Yeah, J268. They call it the Japanese Duesenberg. That was in Japan during World War II, and it was in Tokyo. Luckily, they didn't bomb Tokyo, but the car survived that, and it came to the States in 1958. A GI bought it around 1958. He shipped it to Germany, and they made they put the body that's on it now, the convertible coupe body that's on it now. So, in fact, the Duesenberg historian Ray Wolf said it was the last bodied Duesenberg. He quoted that as being the last bodied Duesenberg was J268. That's when I have one. Oh, yeah.
And for those that don't know, you drive your cars, you enjoy them, you get them out there, and you climbed that hill with that Duesenberg, didn't you?
Yeah, we got out there. We got on the hill.
Yep. Yeah. Show them what a Duesenberg's like, right?
Well, the car was doing 90 miles an hour in second gear. I mean, for a 1929 car, that was pretty powerful. These J's really were the car of the future back then. They made 480 some odd of them in 10 years, but they didn't body them all. They made them all in the same year, 1929, but they were all bodied. It took 10 years to body the 480 some odd of them.
I was going to say many of them were like Murphy or Brun. There was a whole group of body people. So when you bought a Duesenberg, you were buying the chassis and the drivetrain primarily. Am I correct? And then you'd spec out the body.
That's correct. Then you'd send it out to a bodybuilder. Like my J505 is Durham. They made 3 Durham bodies. J505 is one of them. In fact, we did the Duesenberg meet, the races about 10 years ago, and there were 53 of us there, and two of the Durham showed up that day, and Randy Ema pointed out there were 3 of them. All 3 exist. All 3 have survived. So
wow,
505.
Wow. Now you've also got a Duesenberg race car, as I recall, or was it 2 of them?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I recreated the Joe Freeman car. Joe, before he passed away, gave us permission to go down there and take all the specs off his car,
Right.
and recreated that body through Pro Shapers in Massachusetts. Ray Shalane. He did most of the work. We finished it, and we got that all together, and that's in my showroom right now. But that's quite an interest. It's called a long tail.
Right.
Very. You go on my website, you'll see that. I think I even have that on my projects page where you can follow the restoration of what we did with that car.
It was like an extended boat tail. Am I correct?
Yes, it is a long tail.
Yeah. Right. What year was that one, Dick?
Oh, that one is 19. That one back to 19. God, what year was that? 19. No, that wasn't 11. It was before that. 1909, I believe.
It was a very early car.
Very early one. Yeah. That's one of my favorites.
They started running them at Indianapolis at one point, and they were Duesenberg brothers were really very aggressive about building cars for the track and then selling them on Monday morning. So
that's true, and they had these walking beams. They were running them. The 4-cylinder. They were only a 4-cylinder car. They were running them into the 20s, into the early 20s. They ran them in Indianapolis as late as 1920. They weren't beating them, but they were keeping up with them. And then naturally, they went in 1921. They made the Duesenberg brothers made the Model A Duesenberg, the first straight 8.
Straight 8, yeah.
First car with the hydraulic brakes. And it was the first straight 8, and that was made by Fred and Augie Duesenberg.
So they were building hydraulic brake systems in the early 20s?
Yeah, 1921. They were the first ones that had that. And that was the Model A Duesenberg. In fact, We've shown it. It's funny we're talking about the brakes. We're showing a car this Sunday at the Greenwich Concours. I'm showing my a Model A Duesenberg. It's a boat tail roadster.
Yep.
And it's the first time showing it. And we got it running yesterday. Talk about down to the wire. We got it yesterday, and then my boy said to me, "Hey, Shappy, this car doesn't have brakes." I said, "Oh, wow, we got to worry about brakes now." So we got one day, which is tomorrow, and we're going to at least have brakes. The hydraulics, for some reason, we did everything. It's a nightmare to do a Model A Duesenberg hydraulic brakes. It's really such a ridiculous system. Anyone who's restoring one of these things knows. But we did it right. But they're not working yet. We'll figure it out though. But we're gonna have brakes. You want to stop, especially with the kind of money we have into these restorations.
I was going to say that's not a light car. That's one thing they didn't skimp on was the weight.
They got the weight to it. And you don't want to be hitting anything with them when they're.
No, whatever it hits, that'll bounce off. But now, how did they build those brakes? Did they have just a single wheel cylinder on each drum, or how did they build them? Do you know?
It's got one master cylinder, but it's distributed to four brakes. It's got front brakes and rear brakes, and
really?
I had front brakes until that time. And it's like, again, it's not a very good system, but you get it hooked up the right way, they'll work. I mean, they obviously they worked, but it's just a monster system to deal with.
Again, this was the very, very beginning of hydraulic brakes. I mean,
Yeah.
The base state's a 24, and it's got rear brakes only, and it's rod actuated. So,
Exactly.
I got a 34 car. It's got cable brakes. So hydraulics were a pretty big deal in the 1920s.
Yes, it was 1921. That's why Duesenberg owns that distinction, being the first year of the juice brakes in 21 of a production American car. Yeah, that's documented.
Right. Now you've been collecting not only Duesenbergs, you've been collecting Cadillacs. You also like rare vehicles generally, both cars and motorcycles. You're bringing a 1904, I believe it is, Cameron, was built in Pawtucket.
That's right. It was a Pawtucket car. They made them in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. They also made them in just over the line in Massachusetts. They made them as well. But yeah, I've got actually a couple of Cameron cars. I like them because they're Rhode Island made. And the first ones, the one we're bringing there is kind of it's real bony. They were not the early cars. Naturally, they had only been making cars for a few years in 1904. But yeah, we're gonna be bringing that when it runs, it drives. I don't want to. At one point, I was going to use that in the Newport to Bristol tour, and I said, to do 50 miles in a car like this, we decided.
That's hard on the bladder, Dick.
Yeah, that's a trip. 50 miles in one of these cars. You got to think that back in the day, they didn't even have roads that were, they were all bumpy roads, and you didn't go very far with these things.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Cliff Lewis, who lives in Wayland, is planning to drive his 1904 Oldsmobile over from Wayland. And I've had occasion to ride in it with him. And they were pretty fast little cars. I mean, they could go 40, 45 miles an hour if you really wanted to. And I have to tell you, all I had to hold on was that rail that was on the right-hand side of the seat. And when they say a dash, it's a joke.
You had a tiller.
Yeah. And I mean,
you don't feel
it covered my shoes. It didn't do much else. There's not a lot in front of you. So you got a 40-mile-an-hour breeze in your face and nothing else to keep you from being launched. It's really a pretty exhilarating ride.
You hit something, you're getting launched.
Now you're a pedestrian.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about your passion for old motorcycles and motorbikes.
Well, I've probably been collecting the old motorcycles probably for the last 20 years or so, but I wish I had gotten into them earlier, because I can remember the days going to swap meets and you could buy like an early, say a 19, I remember the last one was a 51 Indian. A guy had it for 5,000. I was haggling with him. I didn't want to give him the 5,000. Today, that same bike is, there's 35, 40 grand. If you get a 4-cylinder, they're bringing 80 to 100,000 for that same bike. But I got into them, and I got into them pretty heavy. I probably got 60 or 65 bikes right now. And at one point, they were calling me the Merkel man because I was specializing in flying Merkel bikes. And but I'm doing them all. I'm doing Indian, Pope, Harley Davidson. I'm doing strap tank Harleys right now. Pope, Pierce.
The Popes were made in both Westport and Westfield, and and in Hartford.
They made them in Westfield, Mass, and in Connecticut. Well, they made the Pope Hartford for sure,
right?
But the bikes were made in Westfield, Mass. Yeah,
right. Now there's a shot of the 1914 Pope Twin Model L.
Yeah. Check out my 1918. I have one. Leno has one. In fact, I had seen the one that Leno had. I visited his place a few years back, and one of his prized Popes was his 1918. That's the last year of the Pope, by the way.
Okay.
And one came available from a friend of mine up in Massachusetts, my friend Billy, and I couldn't believe it. So anyway, I took that and I restored that. That's in my collection. That's probably one of my best Popes. But that's the 18T they call it. That's a twin cylinder, and it's when it's the most powerful one they made too. And it's a shame that they stopped production after that, because that was the best Pope ever made. The 18, most powerful.
Wow. I have a deep appreciation for automotive mechanical stuff. But boy, the motorcycles, they really transitioned from a bicycle into, you know, a motorcycle very early. I think was it like 1899? Orient was making a motorcycle engine, right?
Yeah, yes, they did. And
And
there was a European one. I forget. Was it Daimler or somebody? There was a one 1889, 90, whatever. They started production in the United States mostly around 1902,
right,
1903. They really got into it. Harley Davidson Indian, and they had the Harley Indian Wars. And I guess in 1953, Indian went out of business, and Harley took over. And I guess Harley won that war. I mean, they've tried to reestablish Indian production again, but it's just never been the same. Harley Davidson is where it's at right now.
I was going to say a part of that was it Harley or Indian that was giving, they basically gave up sales for their war effort. So, and
no, they both did produce motorcycle World War II. If that's what you're talking, they did produce motorcycles in World War II. A lot of them went to Europe, and they're coming out of woodwork even right now. You'll see them once in a while come out. But I think Harley Davidson, I don't know the exact figures, but I'm sure that's available. Harley stepped up to the plate, and I think they produced more than Indian, but they both did produce bikes for the World War II effort. World War I as well.
Right. We had quite a few Indians at the event last year, and from what I understand, the guys that brought them last year are coming back and with some different models and such. So we should have a very nice display. So
at the Bay State.
Yep. Yeah, the Bay State Motor Festival. Yep. Tell them we're in a meeting, Dick.
I should bring a bike there too. Certainly got enough.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know what? If you got the Pope Hartford. I mean, we don't have too many Connecticut motorcycles coming, so wow. You know, if that's a possibility, yeah, that would be a really nice addition.
I could do that. I'll mount that on the back of my truck. As long as got enough guys to take it off. Yeah, we can handle that.
Well, I got the volunteers will help us too, so
I'll do that.
Excellent. I'd love to see that. You know, it's really great having you on. Tell us real quickly about Dick Shappy's car emporium and your for sale side. I mean, you sell cars and motorcycles, and you don't have room to put them all there, so some of them got to go. You got to share the wealth.
At my house, I've got 8 of them. I've got 8 cars there, and I've got about 50, 55 motorcycles at my house. I used to have an indoor pool. I was never using the damn thing, and I said, well, you know what? This is a whole bunch of space going away. So I didn't fill it, but I covered it. Yeah. And I made that motorcycle display room, and I've got about 50 bikes just in that room, all lined up. And but there's something else I've gotten into recently. I'm doing I bought a 1926 yellow coach bus. Now this bus, it's a double-decker bus that was a New York City tour bus.
Tour bus? Very cool.
This thing was used in the movies in the 40s, and I spotted it out in California. Oh my God, 20 years ago, and I was very interested in it. But trees were growing through it, and the thing had been sitting outside for so many years. And I was very interested in it. I said, I'd like to buy this bus. Anyway, some guy buys the bus. This guy in Oregon buys the bus. And for years, we talked about it. And he convinced back and forth. And he told me that he had a guy living at his house for years doing a restoration on this thing. And he spent $60,000 just on the white ash wood material they used to do the restoration on this thing. And, years and years of this thing. He calls me up one day. And he says, Shappy, do you want to buy the bus? I don't want to buy the bus. You've been torturing me all the year. He said, this was on a Friday. He says to me, will you give me $20,000 for the bus?
Oh, geez.
$20,000 buses. I would have given you $20,000. I would have paid $20,000 25 years ago for this bus. Friday. Well, it was in my garage Monday afternoon. That's how quick I called my friend Corky Coker. I said, Corky, he's got a transportation business, blah, blah, blah. He said, where is it? I said, it's up in Oregon. He said, I got boys out on the West Coast right now. So they delivered it to me on the Monday. I had it. It's in my shop right now, and I'm restoring. Check that out on my website.
There you go. He just brought it up. Hey, nothing like a small request take a double-decker bus from
Double-
Washington State and bring it across the country in a weekend.
Yeah, we got that thing going together, and it's right next to my trolley car. By the way, my trolley's another.
I was sitting in the trolley car with you a couple of years back, and you were in the midst of restoring it. So you got that done then?
Well, the body's all done. It's completely finished. So what I'm waiting for, not waiting for, that we've already located them, is the trucks. The trucks are the wheels, and there's the electric motors go on top of the trucks. Well, the trolley museum, whom I'm going to donate this to, I'm going to give them my trolley. They've got a set of trucks put aside for it, and this thing will be up on the track.
Yeah, I thought you were waiting for the tracks to get laid. So
yeah, I've got. Well, you need a lot of track. That's the problem.
Yeah, you need a lot of track. It's a big piece.
Yeah,
it's like what, 60 feet long or something?
This thing is 40 feet 11 inches.
Okay.
Probably 40 feet 11 inches, 41 feet long, and I've got
41 feet long.
I've got track for display, but I don't have the trucks again. So I got the track up against the same building next to the trolley. But
right. Now, if somebody wants to come in and visit and see your display of vehicles for sale, do they just come online and go to Dick Shappy wants to sell you a car?
No, go to dickshappyclassiccars.com.
There we go.
Or dsclassics.com. There's two websites, but dickshappyclassiccars.com. I actually have three websites. What's my other website?
dickshappyclassiccars.com. We got that one up on the website.
And Dick Shappy Vintage Auto Sales.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we're out there with all this stuff. I love displaying the things. I love showing them. Like I said, I got a busy summer coming up. I got to show just about every weekend coming up. We're going to be going even to, I'm going to try to do the ACD meet, Auburn Court Duesenberg meet in Auburn, Indiana.
Auburn, yeah.
And I want to bring this Model 8 Duesenberg. I'd love to bring J268 too. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring both of them, but I'm certainly going to bring one. And then we've got, again, this Concours this weekend. And there's Wasion. It's the year of the Curtis. Now, you mentioned early motorcycle. Glenn Curtis built. He built the. He was the man. He used to race bicycles. Then he said they'll go a lot faster if I put a motor in them.
Put a motor in them.
Yeah. They made a Hercules. Then he got sued for using a Hercules name. So he said, "Oh, the hell with it. I'll start calling him Curtis." But I have the first. I have the first Hercules that was ever built. That's in my collection. You look that up. Look up my 1904 Hercules. That's on my website. Glenn Curtis's fingerprints are actually in that bike. In fact, the Curtis Museum up in Hammondsport called me. They wanted to display it at their museum, and we just never got around to I got it in my own museum right now. But so if you want to see it, that's there too. But yeah, there's a lot of history with this stuff, and I'm just loving it. I find something if I want it, I grab and put it together. Yeah, my buddies, the Pickett's, Mikey Wolf, and you got Jersey John.
Yeah,
they're out in Davenport a couple of years ago, and the talk of Davenport was they had this early strap tank Harley engine. And it was the talk of that. They say, "Hey, you better call Shappy." So they called me up, and I said, "Oh man, I got to have it." Because the year before they had sold one at the auction in Vegas. They got $930,000 for a motorcycle.
Wow.
Geez, I got a bunch of the frames and things for those because I bought out a whole collection. This good friend of mine his son passed away, and he just gave up on everything. He had 4 strap tank projects he was putting together. So I said, well, I could use a real engine. So that's in my collection as well. So we just finished that one. We finished striping that one, doing some of the paint work on that one yesterday as well. We've been working on that one for a few.
We're going to have to live to 120, Dick.
I hope so.
Me too.
I don't know. Is there any kind of vitamins I can take to keep me going? I am busy. I'm very busy, but it's keeping me active. I stop doing this, then I'm going to die.
Yeah, you and me both. I think I told you off air that for the first time in 75 years, the Bay State sedan ran under its own power on the street. Yesterday, it was my birthday, and I said, I'm going to get this car on the road, and I did. And boy, it was one of the finest things I've done in a long time.
That's a
It's just an
25.
awful lot of fun. Huh?
That's a 25.
24.
24. 24.
Yep.
We'll be in the same class.
Yeah, I'd live in fear of that, Dick. So,
That's all right.
hey, we'll look forward to seeing you in about 3 weeks. And the Pope Hartford and then the Cameron, and we got a high wheeler coming. We've got one of those where you put the seat in the middle of a giant tire rim, and you ride in the inside. So a buddy of mine's coming with that. I mean, so we got a whole lot of really interesting stuff coming. It's going to be an awful lot of fun.
What's good too? I'm bringing that Cameron. I can fit the Cameron and a motorcycle on the same trailer, which is unusual because usually I put a big V16 in there. You don't have a pencil after. Those things are so long.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to this weekend too. This will be the first time out with this Model 8 Duesenberg boat tail.
Model 8, yeah. Not like a Model A Ford, for those that don't know.
No, it's not a
Thanks
Model A
so
Ford.
much. It was a pleasure talking with you. Thank Nicole for helping to put this together. And we'll see you in about 3 weeks.
God bless, man. Good seeing you.
Be good, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.